Welcome, everyone. My name is JR, and I'm the founder and owner of Business Leaders Network. And today we're with another business roundtable where I get the opportunity to be able to talk to other leaders out in the world, to be able to share more about who they are, what they do, and what they're doing to make an impact. And I would love for you guys to take time to listen, to hear, and if it makes sense for you to get in touch with them, make sure you hear at the end where the best to reach out to them. So thank you so much for everyone joining me on today's call.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for being.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first question I'm going to start with Mr. Jason. If you can share more about who you are, what you do, and what inspired you to get started doing what you do.
Yes, I am the visionary founder of Morning into Dancing. That's not morning as opposed to evening. It's morning like I'm sad. But Morning into Dancing. I'm the author of this book, Good Grief, Celebrate Your Life. I am a certified funeral celebrant, which that sounds depressing, but not when you view it through the lens of celebration like I do. I have a very unique approach, and I've had a number of funeral directors tell me we've never heard so much laughter coming out of our chapel than when you do services here. So I'm developing a certification course to teach other people to do funerals the way that I do, because there's over 25,000 funeral homes in the country. And I am committed to changing the landscape of traditional funerals. And so there's a number of things that I do to kind of put the fun in funeral. But I also teach people how to sell pre-need funeral insurance. That's another leg of my company. And yeah, that's basically what I do is I speak at funerals. And I also follow with grief support. Grief support is very important to me as well.
Love that. Well, thank you so much. Dr. Gigi, same question for you. Tell our audience who you are, what you do, and what inspired you to get started.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, JR. And it's such an honor to be here with all of you today. I'm Dr. Gigi Sabbat, motivational keynote speaker. I'm also an author as well, like Jason. I'm the author of the Walk With Me and God First books endorsed by Les Brown. I'm also a coach, and I'm the CEO and founder of Life Service Center of America. And I love helping others achieve their goals. Essentially, a few years ago, I almost lost my life, death by strangulation in a domestic violence relationship. And after everything that happened, I stepped into God's purpose for my life, and I launched a podcast, the books, and the company Life Service Center of America. And God led us to host events. It started off with domestic violence and sexual assault, topics I'm a survivor of, but then He led us to host them on various subjects. I mean, you name it, leadership, business, confidence, pregnancy. We just did one on endometriosis, one on marriage, and now we're getting ready for our 6th annual Global Leadership Conference, 4th annual Global Warriors Conference, 7th annual Global Domestic Violence event, and 7th annual Global Breast Cancer event. God is good.
I love that. That's a mouthful. You sound like you're doing some really cool stuff.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, Emerald, same question to you, man. Why don't you share with our audience who you are, what you do, and what you're doing to make an impact?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me here. David Boss with Emerald Gotcha Gutters out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And this is my 4th business. I got into this business to take kind of like a break from the white collar world. And my dad died at the age of 46, and my mom was 5 years younger and was doing the cleaning maintenance. And when I got into this industry, it just seemed like everything was just like about hustle. There wasn't a lot of connection. There's a general view of construction not being as professional as it could be. So got in here and just found that I really love making an impact and difference. And when we do projects and jobs, we look to fix the solution. We're not just looking to get a paycheck. And growing in the community and realizing how many other small companies just don't know how to run a company. My hope is to be an inspiration in our community and to get more community projects happening and to show other smaller companies how to grow. And so we specialize in exterior water management mitigation. We've grown from gutters to almost everything you can think exterior. But if water can get into your house and you don't know what's going on, we probably can help you. So that's kind of my inspiration, is just kind of leading and motivating other people to, I think, to show their greatness and where they could be. They just don't know the way.
I love that. Thank you. Miss Mary, same question to you. Share with more about who you are, what you do, and what inspired you.
So I'm a veteran with a mother of 2 autistic children and created Supportive Minds. And what I do is I help families and professionals understand what autism and trauma and PTSD are and how to change the dynamic and understand why your kid does what they do and adjust their wiring to help them overcome the challenges. It's not a label, it's looking at beyond that label to what are their actions, what are they doing? How can we overcome those issues and meet society in the middle, not about them having to completely adjust life to society or them just living in a world of not by themselves. It's eliminating meltdowns, it's helping sensory issues. My kids now wear clothes. See, the disclaimer is gone from 2 years ago on my tagline, which was one of the big issues that we had was clothes and sensories. And it's just understanding, how things work. It's helping veterans like myself overcome PTSD. It's looking at the triggers so that you control the triggers don't control you, and looking at the root causes.
I love that. That's awesome. Andi, same question for you.
Okay. I'm an internationally best-selling author, speaker, ambassador for global projects, and founder of Voices Against Trafficking. We're a 100% volunteer-driven international NPO based in Central Oregon. One of the reasons I founded that is because I'm also a survivor of 17 years of child sex trafficking by immediate and extended family members in the early 60s before there ever was a term. Survived 3 suicide attempts before the age of 10 and multiple attempts on my life throughout that period of time. And I believe that every human has the right to live safe, to live free, especially our children. And so I took my 50 years of business and my law degree and put it to work in the nonprofit area, founded 2 nonprofits that specifically serve victims and survivors of human trafficking and sexual exploitation. And again, special focus on children, but every victim is our concern anywhere in the world. So through Voices Against Trafficking, we provide tools, books, magazines, music CDs, anything to increase the public awareness of this situation. It really is a crime against humanity. And so through my leadership, I train, I speak, and we try and do as much as we can for every community, every neighborhood, no matter where you live, every village, to bring back the respect for life, and also to make sure that the criminal predators don't continue to have the upper hand. We provide platforms for speaking and training, so we're open to doing that anywhere in the world, as well as providing a network of other experts who can speak, train, and help educate and inspire all of our communities to take action in order to end human slavery.
Man, I'm so sorry that you went through all that, and I'm glad that you got a voice to be able to teach.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for me, on February 7, 2007, I survived a suicide bombing in Barwana, Iraq, while I was deployed with the 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines in the 15th MU. And that one incident changed everything for me inside of my life. But one thing that I learned through that is that we're always dependable on the person to our left and our right. And Business Leaders Network was formed and started in 2022 unofficially, or I'm sorry, in 2020 unofficially, but in 2022 is when I made it its own entity, because I was hungry about surrounding myself around people that were like-minded, that were hungry for growth, and that need that support to be able to build and grow at an affordable cost that they can actually do without paying an arm and leg to start, grow, and scale their businesses. And so Business Leaders Network, our whole mission is to build a community of emotionally intelligent servant leaders through education, visibility, and community. And your community is everything when it comes to the growth of your business. We can build it on our own, but why would you do that if you can have people to surround yourself with that are going to be there to support you and help you through the good times, the bad times, the fast times, the slow times? And that's what Business Leaders Network is about. It's about building, having that community of emotionally intelligent servant leaders that we can lean on for that support when we need it and when we don't really need it, but having those relationships and those connections during all the time, and having that community to have that support. And that's why we have Business Leaders Network. All right, Andi, I'm going to go with you to the next question, and we'll just kind of go backwards in the room. So why don't you share more about one of your best client success stories? Where are they at when they started with you, and what did you help them achieve?
Absolutely. When Allison came to us, to our first nonprofit, Beulah's Place, which was the basis for Voices down the road, she was just 18 years old. Her father was the primary sexual predator. Her mother didn't really do much about it and became a raging alcoholic. And when she finally divorced the father, Allison had already been through a lot of things similar to some of the things I experienced. But when she came to us, I just knew that God just put put it on my heart that this girl is not going to get anywhere if we don't help her. So we did. And through our program and through Safe House program that we created that specifically addressed individual issues, she not only finished high school at 20, she went on to college, even though she had said that she would kill herself after each of these, accomplishments. And now she is one of the top social workers for children in our state. And she completed her master's in a year after college and was a 4.0 the entire time.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. I love that. Congratulations, man. I'll be sharing that everywhere. That's a beautiful story.
Cool.
Mary, tell us one of your best client success stories.
One of the hugest ones I had was a veteran who ended up taking the life of a teenage child who carried a grenade and threatened a few soldiers. And because of that incident, and this kid ended up being friends with a lot of people on base and things like that, because you know how it is overseas. And so when he got home, he struggled with his own kids. Every time he saw his own kids, because they were around the same age, he would flash back to that incident, and he had no relationship. He tried, and he just lost it every single time. I worked with him for about 6 months and about a year later, he now has a full loving relationship with his kids. His triggers aren't there anymore, and he's looking at training to do what I do.
Beautiful. I love that. Congrats. All right, Emerald, same question for you. Tell us one of your best client success stories.
Yeah, the one that comes to mind is she was a middle-aged client and trying to take care of everything. Her husband died a few years ago, and she'd had several contractors come out to the project. They knew she had money, and everybody was just trying to get the job. And we came in, and even though our price was a little bit more, we spent the better part of probably 2 days, which is uncommon for a contractor in your space to spend so much time, like literally like going through and trying to get to the root of what she actually wanted, and ended up being an entirely different approach for why she called us out. And I think the biggest thing we just realized is that it's like, it should be no different than whether you're doing business or talking to people. Like at the end, we're all actually trying to do the same thing. We're trying to connect to people. And we spent so much time connecting with her. She gave us so many reviews. She was our first client to go and give us a video testimonial. But I think she just appreciated the experience that in the contractor world, that whether it was a guy coming to do tile or gutters or roof or something, that they could take the time to actually care about what you wanted at your source. And so that's how we've been kind of building our name, is like, hey, price isn't what we're focused on, whether it's cheap or expensive. It's like, are we fixing the solution? Or are we fixing what you want? So Linda's probably been our most phenomenal review and appreciated us, and we've appreciated her. And we treat our clients like they are. Like if there's a warranty call or somebody that calls from one of our clients, I don't hate it. I'm like, what can I do? How can I still stay in your space and serve you?
I love that. That's so awesome. And I kind of want to hit on that because, we've recently had some water or some damage at our house for a hot water heater, and towards the end of the last year, and we had a month where we had no hot water. It was miserable. And we had like 4 or 5 people that came by, different contractors, all of them completely different price, everything from $2,500 to $7,500 to $15,000 to come and fix our stuff. And the person we went to the most was the one that wanted to service the best, not because they wanted to get an extra dollar. I mean, I called around, figured out what we actually needed, and made it happen. So servant leadership happens every time. They'll win. So great job. All right, Dr. Gigi, your turn. Share one of your best client success stories.
Absolutely. So one of the client success stories that I have, it's a woman, and she was actually pregnant at the time when she came to see me. So I am a life coach as well. And so she came to see me in regards to life coaching. And I also help folks write their books and launch their books. And so literally she had been working on the book for quite a while. And what we did is we literally met every single week, and I met her where she was, and we worked on her book. And I told her she was going to have both babies at the same time. Literally the physical baby and the actual book was going to launch. And that's exactly what happened, actually. So literally the exact same day, the baby was born, she launched a book. And not just that, she's absolutely thriving right now. Beautiful soul. And then also, too, her husband became one of my clients.
That's awesome. I love that. Congratulations. Beautiful
Thank you.
story. Jason Harris.
Well, I tell you,
Don't start your story that my best client success story started in a grave.
no, actually, since my book and my seminar, my grief seminar, are kind of congruous, and my keynote speech, very passionate speaker, is 5 questions that'll change your life. There's a woman that read my book. My book is very conversational. It's not like a textbook, and so it is about grief, but and kind of the grief journey. But a lady that endorsed my book, she lost her husband 5 years before she read this book. And what was tragic was that he died very suddenly on Christmas Eve, right after they had an argument. And so she went upstairs and was, steaming and brooding around. And her husband was banging pots and pans around downstairs in the kitchen. And he died of a massive heart attack. And so there was no opportunity to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, or anything like that. And see, the first 6 months after she lost her husband, she tried to read every book on grief that she could get her hands on. She said about 2 chapters in, she would just slam the book and throw it across the room because it was so textbook-like. And you need to do this, you need to do that, and whatever. And when she read my book, she read it in one sitting. And she actually sent me a text message at 3 o'clock in the morning when she finished it. And it was a selfie, and she looked like she'd been beat up. And she said, I cried through every turn of the page of your book. She said, but this is the first book that I feel like really helped me. And as far as the seminar is concerned, I have people come up to me afterwards and say, I wasn't expecting to laugh so much as I did in this seminar. And people say that, funeral directors tell me, I've never heard so much laughter coming out of our chapel than when you do services here. And I don't get up and tell jokes. It has a lot to do with these 5 questions. So there's been a number of people that actually come up to me and say, I've never seen anything like this. So that wasn't exactly one success story, but definitely the one that read the book and said, this is the first one that really helped me.
No, that's powerful. That's a beautiful story. And it's that sometimes the stories that are the best are not the one that has a monetary gain or financial gain, but it's the ones that impacts the heart the most. And so I love that you guys are all sharing. It was like, hey, you know what? I probably didn't gain the most financially from it, but this is when the life was changed. And it's funny that, when we think about like what actually makes the biggest difference, or when we start digging deeper into why we're doing what we're doing. And I don't know if you guys ever heard of like the 7 layers. So you keep asking yourself why 7 times. You go layer and layer,
Yes.
and always boils down to the emotional being of our heart. And we start surface levels like, well, I want to do this because I want to make more money, or I make a bigger impact, or I help more people. But when we really dive into it, it's really about the impact that we make in other people's lives. And that's why we do what we do. It's really to figure out what we do for the impact. And so for me, I have a ton of stories that I can definitely share. But one in particular, I love to share Jason's story a little bit, because he's on this call and he's a newer member of our community for Business Leaders Network. And he came in because he wanted more speaking opportunities. He wanted more connections. And his first week, he got a speaking job to go in with another member out in Vegas, and sacrifice for time, money, energy, and stuff like that. But it's just a reminder that we're one connection away from where we want to be. And I spoke on this individual stage one time before. It's probably like 5-6 years ago, and I'm reminded that 5 people that I met in that room are still clients or close friends of mine today. And it's just, you never know what room you're going to be in that's going to make the biggest impact. And so I say that, and I share that story because you never know that one connection and how big of an impact that's going to make into your life. And I got stories like this every day, just like Jason's, where people come to our community, they make one new connection, and then it creates opportunities for something greater. And so from both ends, we don't know where it's going to lead to, but it led to a speaking opportunity. It led to a new friendship that he has with another client, and he's just going to continue to grow from there. And just like the military, when we say we got your back, we got your 6, that's what the community is about. It's about helping each other grow. And so I love sharing that story about other members. But Jason, I'm glad that I get to share yours today, and excited to see where your relationships grow within our community. And you're coming out in April, right?
That's the plan.
You confirmed?
Well, I still haven't heard from the date of if I'm speaking in Colorado the same week. That's the only possible conviction. Otherwise, I mean, conflict.
The beautiful thing is every person in that room that's going to be at my event is going to die eventually because we're promised death, right? So
that's for sure.
Bad joke, but good joke, So I can guarantee you 30 people, the potential clients. So
yes, that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, so cool. All right, let's move on to the next piece. And Dr. Gigi, if you don't mind starting out, tell us who your best client is and where's the best place for someone to get in touch with you.
Yes. So all of my clients are the best to me. And I am so proud of them for not just taking action, but also trusting the process, right? It's those folks who have successfully completed our programs. And again, I'm so proud of them. I mean, also too, there's a woman, she was afraid to get on camera in regards to confidence, and now she's running 2 successful shows. So I'm just so proud of her as well. And I am actually in Palm Coast, Florida. You all can get a hold of me via Life Service Center of America, LLC.com, via the contact us section. The team will be more than happy to hear from you all, or also on LinkedIn, Dr. Gigi Sabbat.
Love that. You mind sharing of who your ideal client is? So that way the listeners out there would be like, hey, they're speaking to me.
Absolutely. So someone who may be feeling stuck at this time, or maybe you want to work on your confidence. Maybe you have a book that you want to write or that you've been working on, or also a podcast that you want to launch, or maybe you want to speak more. Maybe you want to speak on more stages. Then don't hesitate to reach out. I'd be more than happy to assist.
Love that. All right, Jason, who's your ideal client? And then what is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Well, Gigi, I'll definitely be getting in touch with you because my goal for 2026 is to get on 26 stages. That's my personal goal. Physical stages. Now, I'd love to be on podcasts. I was just on an awesome podcast about a week ago. And so speaking opportunities, that's my greatest passion. I've said before that speaking is my crack cocaine. Not that I know anything about crack cocaine, but I am super passionate about speaking, and not just on grief. I can also I have 36 years of ministry experience. It's a great thing to say on the heels of crack cocaine. But I've been a pastor, a church planter. I've done short-term mission trips. I've been around the world and speak at camps and retreats and things like that. And so I love speaking, but there's no place on earth that I would not go to speak at a funeral. And so if someone wants to use me as a certified funeral celebrant for their loved one, I will do that anywhere as well. I do book signings, but I'm very eager to teach people to do funerals the way that I do. And I can do that in about a 3-hour course. It's not like a weekend course or anything like that. It's going to be a very simple 3-hour course. I'm developing that right now, but it's to the point where with my method, it's both simple and so effective that there have been 2 times. I don't prefer this, but there have been 2 times that I've had a funeral director call me very frantic and say, Jason, can you do a funeral today? And I'm like, what time today? This was like at noon, and she said 2:00. I said, in 2 hours? Could you tell me the name of the person who died and maybe the next of kin? That's how little I knew about this. And literally 2 hours later, the family and friends walk in. It wasn't a big funeral, but I stepped down from the pulpit or the lectern and asked the family, do you mind if I just sit down on the stage in front of you? And today, this isn't a funeral home chapel. This is a living room. And let's talk about Charlie. And it ended up being a phenomenal service. And they said, I don't know how you pulled this off. And it's just because of the 5 questions that I developed. There are 4 applications to the 5 questions that'll change your life. And I'm eager to tell you about it. So anywhere that I could speak, whether it's a podcast or a stage, that is what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah, let's chat. LinkedIn. I'll connect on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Love that. Very cool. Emerald, same question for you. Who's your ideal client, and what is the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. I would say by now, over the last 4 or 5 years, I feel like who our best client is someone who's looking for the expertise and someone to kind of hold their hand through the whole process. There's a lot to know, and if it's done wrong, it's going to affect your house. Like, this is the home where you produce everything good out of your house, whether you're a motivational speaker, whether you're a firefighter. Like, our home is where we live and try to produce the peace. So if you're looking for someone who's going to come in and make sure that the water's managed and taken care of, whether it's a gutter system, roofing system, siding system, but you're really looking for that kind of like personal touch, we're definitely definitely our ideal client, and we've done small to big projects. Best way to find us, if you're on Facebook, we are not shy. We have tons of video content on Facebook with Emerald Gotcha Gutters is where we started as our base. Some videos on YouTube, and you can find us on LinkedIn. So
Love that. Thank you. Mary, same question for you. Who's your ideal client, and what's the best way to get in touch?
First of all, the best way to get a hold of me is any of my social medias, either Mary Stanley or Support of Minds. And right now, with the 25th anniversary of 9/11 and the 250 of the year, there's a lot of things coming out. And Minnesota just finished a research study showing that on average, it's 100 veterans commit suicide a year in the state of Minnesota alone. And we have no military bases here other than Fort Snelling. So my ideal clients right now are veterans that are stuck on that ledge and just want to move forward and want to get help and understanding you're not alone. And what I do is I don't work just with the veteran, I work with the family so that we all the whole community around that person understands what it is.
I love that. Very cool. Thank you so much. And you're a Marine?
I was Army.
Army? Oh yeah, I forgot. I won't hold that for you.
I won't hold Air Force against you.
Well, I was in the Air Force. I was actually Navy attached to the Marine Corps. So
Well, I won't hold that either.
yeah.
But you're a step better than Air Force.
There we go. All right, Andi, same question for you.
All right. Well, my ideal donor is any donor of any amount, any amount of time, any amount of money, but basically looking for those partners that are passionate. Maybe they don't have a philanthropic interest at this time, or they're afraid to commit to something. But, we want people to know that this is a human issue. So every human is important to us. And so the partners the ideal partner is one that will help make connections with others, either for me to speak and train, or to come on board as a sponsor. We want to get a Voices of Trafficking University tour started as soon as possible so that we can start training and educating the young people about what's happening on their own campuses and hopefully make it safer. Because right now, the most dangerous place for a woman 18 to 24 years old is the college campus. Obviously, we want to hit more schools, and we also want to bring Senpai, which is a social communications tool, into the state school system, which is very difficult, but it's a tool that will actually vet out hunger, homelessness, abuse, and trafficking as young as age 5. Now, wouldn't that be amazing if we got this tool that's been successful in 22 other countries into our country and into our schools? So partner that is willing to help us find those sponsorships, find the people that are saying, hey, I give to these things, but you know what? This is so important. It could happen. It probably is happening in my community. So I want to be part of Voices Against Trafficking. I want to be a voice of courage, and I want to join the mission.
I love that. Great story. I love what you're doing. Just it's sad that we even need to fight against it, but God is good to bring stories and people like you. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And you can find me on voicesagainsttrafficking.com. Click contact. Every email comes directly to me.
Love that. Well, guys, for me, we look for the small business owners that exemplify emotional intelligence and servant leadership, who want to be part of a community and network for growth, that wants more visibility, that wants the education and the support to help them grow. And the best way to get in touch with us is to go to blncommunity.com, and that's BLN for Business Leaders Network, so blncommunity.com. Click on the Join Now button, and then you'll be able to get plugged in and be part of what we're building. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here today. And for all you listeners out there, if there was something that impacted you, that you find valuable, that you would love to learn more about, make sure you connect with the individuals on this call and reach out and see where that conversation leads you. Until next time, Semper Fi.